Coach, what have you seen from Orlando this year that has kind of elevated them as a team?
The versatility that they bring. Not our individual players are obviously stepping up, but they've got great size, that they spread out on the floor. They've been, competing on the defensive end and, playing different lineups, playing some small ball five with Banchero playing at the five. I think Jamal's done a great job of just diversifying and making teams have to prepare for a lot.
Specifically for George, just the shots he's taken this year, about 30% of his shots are less than 10-point range. Is his shot profile a little over 50% catch and shoots? Is that kind of what you were envisioning for him?
Yeah, I think the catch and shoot is something that I think we obviously all saw a lot of. But I think watching him and his ability to put the ball on the floor and kind of get to his spot and shoot that little touch floater, is something that, we didn't realize that he had in his game, which has been helpful too because people do close him out so hard. Him being able to put the ball on the floor and get into those spots and be efficient from there is obviously beneficial for us.
He really didn't do that much at all with Philly. He had a little bit like his third year in the league or so, but not really at all the past couple of years. Is that something you just noticed after, I guess, intertwining him into this team, watching him play?
Yeah, you want to give guys the freedom to play basketball and try to limit how often you put them in a box. And so in doing that, you give guys confidence and freedom, and then they show you things. I think that there's more to their games, and that's what we're all about, is just trying to elevate each individual to be the best they can be within the team and within the system. So every little tool helps everybody.
Did Karras practice today?
Karras did not practice today.
Did Dean practice today?
Dean did practice some today, yes.
And then you guys are at the quarter point of the season. How do you describe the first 20 games at this point?
Up and down. Again, I think there's a lot to be said about the why of that. But I think we're still on the hunt for consistency. I think we've shown really good and positive flashes and shown that we can do it for long periods of time. But I think it's important to realize each individual player matters in our group, and being able to have those guys on the floor together matters. And obviously we've dealt with some ins and outs that have kind of impacted, where we are at this point. But I think the guys understand what we need to do to be successful and want to do what we need to be successful. So we're just going to continue to get better.
Your defense, by metrics, has risen over the last 10 games, but your offense is still kind of where it's been all season long. What's the roadmap to rising offensively the way that you have defensively?
I expect us to, because at the end of the day, when you break it down, it comes down to shot making. And we have belief in our guys that are taking the shots, that they're going to make those shots. It's not something systematically where we feel like we're not getting what we want. We're getting the guys with the ball in their hands, the shots we want to take. There are some things that we will work on, that we've seen how opponents are guarding us and where we can improve there. But again, I think at the end of the day, when you take a look at it, field goal percentage matters. And our guys are capable. The more we rep it out, those shots will become easier for them.
How much of what you're looking at is related to switch-heavy defenses?
Quite a bit.
It seems like Orlando has been getting on transition and moving the ball really quickly up the court. Max said that you guys also want to do that, kind of feed off of that. But how do you also manage being able to still get into your sets and run the pick and roll that's been working for you all season?
I think it's your defense dictates what you do offensively. If you get stops, and now you've got thrusts going the other way, we can still play pick and roll, just play it earlier in the clock, and then we can be efficient from there. If teams are scoring or after free throws, there's different ways and different sets that you can get in depending on that. But, we can and want to continue to try to create easier opportunities and not always have to face a team's half-court defense. So it's important for us to get stops, force turnovers, defensive rebound the ball cleanly, and try to get out and create early opportunities.
Even though he's going to the team since training camp, have you been in contact with Ricky at all?
We've had text conversations, yes.
And just good, and just checking in.
Yeah, just checking in, yeah.
Okay, and then on basketball side of things, Jared called Isaac's game underrated. I think. Do you agree with that sentiment? Just because he kind of is just like the unsung hero sometimes on the defensive
Yeah,
guys?
I mean, I think Isaac Okoro, in my mind, from like people's perspective on the outside looking in, is really underappreciated because there's so many things that impact winning that just don't go in stat sheets that Isaac does. And, you know, like the way he makes his teammates feel when he does those things, like you can't qualify that, right? You can't put that on a number. So, you know, we know and value Isaac. And, you know, people want to just write him off, but like he impacts winning in a high way. And, you know, again, we have a high level of appreciation for Isaac in this game.
And with how hectic the beginning of the year has been for you guys, just back-to-backs and road home games, is it nice just to have 2 days off to practice, rest, and recover?
Yeah, I mean, we were looking forward to this, you know, this time as coaches in particular, so you can kind of use it to clean up the things that you need to clean up. You know, and guys can just kind of find some sort of a rhythm and almost a small reset. You know, get some rest, sleep in their own bed, you know, all those things that we miss with the in and out and back and forths. So this has definitely been good for us.
You've got Orlando twice, Boston twice, Miami, all playoff teams. Is this in any way a measuring stick stretch for you guys?
I mean, not in our mind. You know, you obviously, and it's human nature, right? When you play good teams, you know, you want to bring a level of competition in those games. But our focus is on the process, and we've just got to continue to get better. So, you know, we obviously go to win and go to compete at a high level, but, you know, we're focusing on us and the things that we're doing right, the things we need to correct, and that's where our mindset is.
Training camp was just a couple of months ago, obviously, and things have changed, you know, injuries, all sorts of stuff has happened, but you said yourself that you trust your depth and that, you know, you like Craig Porter to get some minutes, you would like some of the guys you put Sam in on the other day. Has there been a difficulty of just trying to get more bodies on the court than you anticipated, or is there anything else working?
I mean, the exception of the injuries, obviously, but when you look at it, you know, is we have a lot of really good small players, and trying to find ways where you give guys an opportunity to be successful when you have a lot of those, you know, guys who play those similar positions isn't always easy. You know, and I think through the 82 games, injuries will give you an opportunity to give everybody some chance and some minutes. So instead of putting people in, you know, difficult situations, we're just trying to find ways to get minutes for everyone, but at the same time, give them a chance to do something in a positive way.
The other night against Detroit, you went away from Donovan earlier in the third quarter than you have been recently. Was that a pre-planned thing with your rotations? Is that something that you're planning moving forward, or was that a game thing?
It was just a game thing. You know, again, we try to make sure that rotation length, total minutes, all those things come into play. And then through the game, you know, if there's a spot where you can move him to get him with a different group and against a different group and with other players. So we're just trying to calculate all that stuff as the game is going on.
With the stretch that you have coming up, you got Paolo, Bam, Giannis, all those big guys. Has there been conversation about how to maximize Jared and Evan and also make sure that they're not wearing out over the span of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's the NBA, you know, and it's when you get drafted, it's what you sign up for. Like, you want to play against the best, and, you know, they don't shy away from it. You know, what happens is you concern yourself with following the game, you know, the next day, and make sure you're doing all the things that you can to prepare yourself to play.